Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I want to sit down and talk to y'all about makeup brushes. I'm going to go through with y'all and explain to y'all which brushes I use on a day-to-day basis. I have a ton of brushes to go through, but using the correct brush can make the world of a difference when it comes to your makeup. So if y'all want to find out what brushes I use, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go in order with how you apply your makeup. So I'm going to start with foundation. My first brush that I use, by the way, most of my brushes that you're going to hear me talk about are from Morphe. You just go to www.morphebrushes.com and that's where you can purchase these. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is the Morphe, the M439 brush. This is my favorite brush that I've ever used for foundation. It's just a flat top kabuki brush, and it is so soft, and it is the perfect brush to just buff in your foundation. If I'm not using this brush, I'm using this sponge, which is also from Morphe. Another good sponge is the Real Technique sponge. I really like that one too. Okay, the next brush is what I use for concealer, and it is the Morphe, I believe it's the E8, and this is the perfect size brush to just pat underneath your eye and blend in your concealer. I also will use this for a foundation brush when I'm wanting to get that extra coverage, because this is so small and precise. It's going to pack more coverage. So if you have a blemish that won't cover with a bigger brush like this, you can go over with this brush and it will really pack on the pigment and cover up a blemish. We're going to start getting into powders. I use this brush, and it is the Morphe, the M438, and is the perfect brush to set powder underneath my eye. It goes tapered at the top, so it fits perfect in the corner of your eye. So this is the one that I like to use for powder underneath my eyes. And then this brush is a dual-sided brush, and it's from Mascara. It's a smaller company, so y'all might not have heard of this brand. I really like this brush for my powder for all over my face. So I'll use this one for under my eyes, and then I'll go in with this one and just pat it on the rest of my face. My next brush I'm going to be talking about is the Morphe M527 brush, which looks like this. And it is the perfect brush for your bronzer. So this is a natural haired brush. You can see the white bristles most of the time mean that it's going to be natural hair. And let me explain. So a natural hair brush is going to apply any pigment softer than a synthetic brush. A synthetic brush is going to pick up more, and it's going to pack on more pigment. So if you want something to be soft and blended, you're going to want to go with a natural hair brush like this. And the shape of it just fits perfectly for bronzing. And you don't want your bronzing brush to be too small, because you want your bronzer to kind of just warm up your face. You don't want it to be a precise application. And then the next one I like for contour, and it's the Morphe M523 brush. This is also a natural hair, and I like the dome shape. It just fits perfectly in the contours of your cheeks, and that's what I use this one for. Next one is my nose contour. This is actually probably supposed to be an eyeshadow brush, I believe. It is the Morphe E22, and it's just a good blending brush, and it tapers up at the top, if you can see that. It gets skinnier at the top, which makes it easier for me to go more precise on the sides of my nose. So that's why I like this one for my nose contour. This one I don't use all the time, but you know how you see people use a sponge and clean up their contour? If you don't want to use a sponge for that, you can use this brush. It is the Morphe M459, and it's just a perfect brush. You can dip into your loose setting powder and just stamp it underneath your cheek. You can also do this with your eyeshadow. You can do it with your nose contour. This brush is perfect for that. So this is like a backup brush if I don't want to use a sponge and I want to use a brush instead. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking kind of fast, but we're just moving right through this. Okay, the next one is for blush. Now I've used multiple blush brushes. Over the years I've grown to like smaller brushes for my blush, just because I don't want my blush to take up my whole cheek, you know, because nobody looks good with that, which the old me would have disagreed. I went overboard with the blush back in the day. This is the Morphe M530 brush, and it's just a small, it's small, but it's fluffy enough to not just go on your face, if that makes sense. This is also a natural hair brush, so most of the time you want your face brushes to be natural hair, so it's nice and soft. So this one's perfect for just blending in your blush. This is my favorite I've used so far. I used to use this one from MAC, and I have no idea what number this is. 129, and it's dirty, but it was just too big for my liking, and I feel like I couldn't get it where I wanted my blush to be. So that's kind of why I stopped using this one. This one's a lot cheaper than this one. This one I believe was $50. I cannot believe I paid $50 for this brush. I know this one's probably not even $10. And no, this is not sponsored by Morphe. I wish. But no, I really love Morphe products. I know y'all have heard me talk about them multiple times on my channel. They're just a really good product, and they're so inexpensive. If y'all haven't checked them out, I highly suggest. Okay, I'm out of breath. This one is for my highlight, and this is, I love this brush. I've been using it for a while now. It's the Morphe M501. Now this is synthetic, so I mean, you want to pack on the highlight. It's the perfect brush. It tapers. Let's ignore how dirty my brushes are, by the way. I didn't have time to wash them. It goes tapered at the top, so it gets skinnier. So I like to just put the edge sometimes just right up on my cheek, or I mean, you can use a tip. This is, I'm telling y'all, just trust me, this is the best brush for your highlight on your cheeks. So those are all of the brushes that I use for my face. I know it's kind of ridiculous. Who needs this many brushes for their face? Me, apparently. But it seriously does make the world of a difference to use the correct brush. Now that we're done with the face, I want to take y'all through my eyeshadow brushes. And I'm going to be telling y'all about all of my brushes, not the ones that I just use all the time. I'm going to tell you about all the brushes that I would need to do any sort of eye look. Anytime I do any eye look, I start off with this one to set my eye base or concealer with setting powder. And it is by Mascara again. It's a dual-ended brush. And I can't remember what this one is called. Okay, so after I have set my concealer with the loose powder with this brush, this is the first brush I always go in with any eye look. This is my ride or die. I need to buy some more of these because I love it that much. This is the Morphe M441 brush, and it is the perfect fluffy blending brush for your crease. It's just big enough to make it a light wash of color, and it's not too packed where it's gonna just like too much on your face. It is a natural hair, so it's gonna be a soft blend. It's the perfect one to blend with. I've been using this brush for like 2 or 3 years now, and it's my ride or die. This is probably one of my most favorite brushes ever. The next brush I will go in with, just to deepen up my crease a little bit, is either going to be the Morphe M433 brush, which, like I said, please ignore how dirty my brushes are. You can see, I'll compare it to the one I just mentioned. This was the bigger one. You can see how much shorter the bristles are. So it's going to be a little more packed. So the shorter the bristles are, the more pigment is going to go on your eye because it's more densely packed. This is also natural hair, so it's still going to be soft, but it's going to put more pigment. And it's so short and tapered that you can get lower down into your crease a lot easier than with something like this. So you're going to go in with your Morphe M441 brush first, and then deepen up your crease with this one, which I don't know if I mentioned it. It's the Morphe M433 brush. And if for some reason I don't want to use the Morphe M433 brush, I will go in with my MAC 217 brush, which this is a staple in most people's brush kits. But this one's a lot more money than the Morphe one. So if you've been looking at the MAC 217 brush and you can't afford it, I would suggest the Morphe M433 one. because they are pretty similar. You can see they got the same shape going on. This one's the MAC, this one's Morphe. Pretty much the same. After I've deepened up my crease and all of that, I will go in underneath my lash line, and these are the two that I use. Most of the time I'm using this one. It's the Morphe E18 brush, and it is the perfect pencil brush to smudge underneath your lash line. It's small enough and it just fits perfectly. You can't be going in with one of these brushes that I mentioned earlier and try to put that underneath your lash line, because that ain't gonna work. It will, but it'll get it everywhere. So you're gonna wanna use a pencil brush for underneath your lash line. And here is another one that I use. It is the Morphe, the M321 brush. I don't use this one near as much as I use this one. They're both pencil brushes. One comes more tapered, so you can get more precise with it with this one than this one. This one's just more of like a fluffy brush. This one's really good for blending. Also, I need more of these. This is my Morphe M432 brush. You can use this brush for many things. I mostly use it for my dark colors that I'm gonna put underneath my lash line, whether it's a dark brown, a black, like this darkish purple that I used today. You can push it really close underneath your lash line, like way close. It can hug your lash line really, really well. So that's what I like to use this brush for. It's also a really good brush to clean up your eyebrows with, and you can even do eyeliner with this. So that's what I'm saying. I need to get more of these because they're very, very good. Now, for my nose highlight and inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight, I like to use this brush. It is the Morphe E36. It is the tiniest little pencil brush, but it is these little detail brushes that change the game. It fits so good into your inner corner, and it's going to get your brow bone without getting onto your other eyeshadows, and it's the perfect nose highlight. And the reason why I use such a small brush on my nose highlight is because if I went in with that Morphe M501 brush that I use on my cheeks, it's going to mess up my nose contour, because it's going to make my nose just look wide after I just put the contour on to make it look more skinny. So if I use a more precise brush like this, and I can put it just right down the center of my nose, it's going to keep the illusion going that my nose is skinnier than what it really is. This brush is an eyeshadow brush that I don't use all the time. I like to use this one mainly for when I'm doing a cut crease and I don't want to mess it up. So I need a very small blending brush. So this is the Morphe M506 brush. So what I mean, so when you have a cut crease, kind of like what I have right now, you don't want to mess up this clean line that you created with concealer. So if you want to deepen it up, you take this tiny brush and go right above it and blend it out without messing up your good line that you have there. This is the perfect brush for a cut crease. When I'm doing a cut crease with concealer and I'm doing the shape with my eyelid, I like to use the MAC 239 brush. It's just a flat packer brush. Most of the time when I'm putting color on my eyelid, I will just use my fingertips because I feel like that works best. Like I said, if you want a lot of pigment and you do on your eyelid, you want a lot of pigment on your eyelid, so I would use a synthetic packer brush. It's going to pick up more of the eyeshadow and apply it more pigmented. Okay, now for my eyebrows. I use the Anastasia, the 9B brush, and it is the perfect brush, in my opinion, for when you're doing your eyebrows with like a pomade or a gel. It is an angled brush, but look how thin it is. That is what makes the big difference to me. So when you're trying to use an angled brush, but it's a lot thicker, like a lot wider than this, let me show you, I have one. So when it's a lot wider, like this one is, you see it's not near as thin, it's hard to get precise. So that is why I suggest this one with how thin it is, because you can make your brow look Also, when I'm doing my brows, regardless if it's with a pencil or a pomade, whatever I'm using, it has to have a spoolie. I have got to brush out. There is a piece of hair. Get out. I've got to brush my eyebrow hairs in the direction that I'm going to fill them in, because I don't know how people don't use this. And then after I have the product on, I have to comb the product through my brow to make it all nice and smooth. So a spoolie, oh, excuse me. Ooh. A spoolie is a must when it comes to my eyebrows. And then what I use to clean up my eyebrows, and this is it. I kind of zoomed through this really fast. Is the Morphe M213. Now, look at how tiny this thing is. It's a baby. It is a tiny little bitty packer brush. And I love this for my eyebrows because it's so small that I can clean them up really easily. I will also sometimes, if I'm trying to get really detailed with the cut crease, or I can't reach my inner corner, I'll use this one for that as well. You can also use this for your brow bone highlight. So there's multiple things that you can use these brushes for, but just having an idea of what to use them for makes a world of a difference. And like I said, these little bitty detail brushes make a world of a difference because they can really get into the corners and the crevices that the bigger brushes can't reach.
Oh my god, I'm out of breath. I talked like 20 miles a minute or something like that. I just talked really fast and it's hot.
But that is the brushes that I use every day, well, most days. For anybody curious, I do have the Life's a Drag palette on my eyes. I think this eye look turned out so pretty. I was trying to do a halo eye. I haven't done a halo eye in forever, and Mama was rusty. But yeah, this is the palette I used. I used all of these, and it turned out so pretty. I love this eye look. While I'm here talking about eyeshadow palettes, I want to remind y'all that I do have my giveaway going on for the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. Let me show you. This palette right here. Guys, if you haven't entered, please enter. I'm giving one of these away to y'all for free. I pay for the shipping. It's a beautiful palette. So please enter if you haven't. I will be sure at the end of this video, I will have the giveaway video pop up in the screen. You'll see it. Okay, but that is it. So let me give y'all an idea. Maybe. So these are my base brushes that I use every day, most of the time. And these are my eyeshadow brushes.
It's a lot of brushes for your face, but I'm telling y'all, trust me, it's like completely worth it. You need these brushes, and I'm not just saying that. You absolutely need these brushes to make a good eye look, or to make your makeup, to change your makeup game. You need these brushes. I'm telling you. Just trust me, because I've learned. It was bad.
If y'all like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it with all of my heart. If y'all made it to the end of this video, let's comment the color purple. Just say purple. So I know you made it to the very end of this video. But yeah, I'm going to say it again. Do not forget to enter in my giveaway. Watch the video that I'm about to pop up right here. I'll just pop it up right here because I can. Go watch this video and see how to enter and do it, because I'm giving away that palette for free. And while I'm here, I'm going to put this button up right here, and you can subscribe to my channel, because if you're watching my video and you're not subscribed, why? Just subscribe. It'd make everybody's life easier. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on Monday. Mwah! Have a good weekend. Bye.